who have now been inspired. So I'm not unhopeful about the future, because I've come across several young people who are inspired to their core and would be even willing to give up everything for propagation of Guru Nanak's message. There are several of them. And there are several islands. One island is in Singapore. And Singapore, the messages went over to Australia, to Malaysia, to Thailand, and in all these places, people have started working on these. Well, that's a long story. I don't want to dilate on that, how it started, but it has started. And I have worked with them, so I know firsthand what they have done.
And then we have the Sikh identity, which is so important to the faith. Was this an evolution that happened and was designed to happen? The question often that is asked is that there is a group that did not want to even to be recognized as to where it came from. And then we have the 10th Guru, and we know that they are all one. It's one word, one message. And then he creates this very strong Sikh identity. Would you like to comment on that?
I would. First of all, what we now call Sikh identity is not Sikh identity. It's a misnomer. It is a response of what politics took place. When the Britishers, they divided the seats of the assembly and of the services available, they did that on communal basis. And they had given a certain percentage for the Sikhs that was reserved. Now the Sikhs thought at that time, which meant they had to think, because there were plenty of others who were non-Kesadhari, but they were Sikhs. That if we accept that, then every Hindu would say, I am a Kesadhari, and perhaps our seats would be taken away by all of them. So they said, not all, but only Kesadhari would. That was a political decision, which is unfortunate. There are many unfortunate decisions which we have taken, political decisions, which go against our religion. For instance, we accepted that we have scheduled castes. That's against the tenets of our religion. We have none. Now, this is one of those. Now, similarly, you find that in the first Gurdwara Act pertaining to SGPC, Kesadharis were not mentioned, but in the Delhi Gurdwara Act, Kesadharis come to be incorporated.
I did not mean just the political aspect of it. I mean the dictum that Kesadhari more has. So that's the spiritual aspect, right?
Kesadhari is a dictum for those who have been recruited in the Akal Purkh ki Fauj. Akal Purkh ki Fauj de wo spy hain. Ona vaste dictate. In fact, there was Bhai Nandlal who went to Guru Gobind Singh, to Veru mein mar chukau. मैं भी लड़ांगा जंग जाके तो गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी भाई नंदलाल तुम बैठो कलम फड़ के बैठो थोड़ा कम हुआ जंग से लड़ना थोड़ा कम नहीं उन्होंने अमृत नहीं छुपाया
till the end.
Till the end.
That's historical.
That's historical.
The revisionists who claim that Nandlal actually did have case and all that, because like they want to show that Guru Nanak Dev Ji had never wore a topi. There are people who claim that he was.
So every Sikh is not expected to take Amrit?
That is not said.
Okay.
That is Guru Gobind Singh ने सारे नो अमृत नहीं सी छुपाया सारे ने नहीं सी छुपाया
Whoever gave their head, whoever wanted to give their head.
whoever selection था सी by giving the head, offering the head. मगरों जिन्होंने अमृत छकिया वो क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा भज भी गए सी ना, those who thought के गुरु तो उन सिर लाउन लगे भजो तो वो भजन वाले ने भी किसी वक्त नहीं छकाया दे रहे उससे फेर रह गए तो क्या भी सानू भी छकाओ उन्होंने छकाता मैं
We will, as usual, take a very short break, 5-10 minute break, and then we'll continue with the discussion and question answer session.
Coverage. And,
yes, that means two things. One, that even the scientific and technological community has spiritual quest. And they have found Dalai Lama, one among many who can give answers to the quest.
sorry, it's not so much, he's not giving them any answers. In fact, very obviously, what he's done is brought together these hundreds of spiritual practitioners from different religions, people who meditate, who pray. And then he's brought together scientists and their resources from all over the developed world, Europe, USA included. Then he's brought in psychologists or people like John Kabat-Zinn.
And started dialogues.
And scientific research and testing. So when a person sits and meditates or prays, what's happening in his body, his mind, and thereby I think that would be a wonderful tool to convince the younger people.
I'm not so sure, because this kind of thing is being done by him on a larger scale. On smaller scale, it has been going on for the last 30, 40 years. In fact, when I was under my training in psychiatry, a sadhu came and said, a yogi, he said, you can put me in a dark hole and cover me altogether, I'll emerge after 24 hours. 24 hours. So we did that, and he came out. Everyone wondered. I said, I would volunteer to go into that pit. You cover me up, I'll also emerge after 24 hours. How could that be? I mean, if one man can, the other man can also. Because there is a corresponding respiration between man and the earth. You give out carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the earth around. So you have no problem, and the amount of air inside is sufficient for 24 hours. Why not 48 hours? My wife did not permit me to go into the pit. Now, that was now how many years ago? That was in 1959. Which means 41 there and 10 years, half a century ago. And then I was invited to a conference, and that was being invited by the head of the astrophysics in London. He had invited 35 scientists from all over the world to have a dialogue with J. Krishnamurti. And I was also one of the invited. Unfortunately, I had a terrible accident and I couldn't go. But the proceedings of that conference were eye-opening. Because they thought J. Krishnamurti was one of those mystics who could talk to common people. And he did very well in that. So this is therefore a kind of exercise on both sides. Science has become aware that now we stand on the verge of mysticism. And mystics are happy that science has come to them to find out the further passage. Therefore there is give and take on both sides taking place. Science is very careful. Because science, although it has come to know that objectivity is not the dictum that holds now, they are still not sure what processes we can take, what process they can make to go ahead, to forge ahead. That is their problem. So, if they want to meditate, welcome, but then they have departed from the science that they have so far pursued. Hope I can make myself understood.
Could you, sorry, your document said.
You have said that gurus could perform miracles, they chose not to. And very often you hear that somebody got healed and there's a videotape of somebody getting healed in Gurdwara. So you're lucky to have been versed in both science and religion. What's your present conception? Does God really put natural laws into abeyance for particular individuals?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
It is nonsense to think that God is favoring someone for no reason, simply because he goes to a Gurdwara or goes to a mandir. His laws are totally fixed, unalterable.
Thank you.
Dr. Nick, there's a question of placebo, maybe, just because you pray, just because your immune system is better, that doesn't mean miracle, but things do get better because of those reasons.
I have been unable to hear you. This site by hearing is a little low.
Yeah, there are definitely physiological things that happen
वैसे कान वालों to see फिर भी इतने आ जाओ.
in the belief system. We know from science now. Particularly if you relax, if you meditate, if you have good faith, good philosophy, you're not worried, your stress goes down, you know what happens?
Healing.
Your body is able to deal with the disease much better than otherwise. Okay, but little things can make a difference too. For example, just having faith, if I do this, it's going to cure me, probably causes some of those responses, what we call stress reduction responses, which improve your immune system. So yeah, that could cause healing to take place. So a lot of things happen which can be explained scientifically as well. But does that mean that meditation is meaningless? No, the other way around. So we know that meditation is a very powerful thing, not spiritually, but even for your physical health.
That's an answer to your question.
I think I read somewhere it was written that I think meditation, or like if you're sitting doing part, you're at peace, and then you allow nature to do its work much better. So nature anytime is always healing, right? So it's just like you're more at peace when you're doing meditation or you're doing part, and you're giving that opportunity to get yourself healed.
This is a very important statement. Nature is always healing. No healing is done by doctors. They only help patients do the job. See, for instance, my bone is broken. No doctor can set the joint together. All that he could do is to bring the two ends together so that there is very little distance left between them and healing can take place well. And who heals? As soon as the bone is broken, there are cells lying dormant for any length of time who suddenly wake up, go all over the body, find where the calcium particles are, bring them cold calcium particles and deposit where the bone is broken, and go on doing that till the bone is joined. And this bone will be joined in 3 months. The cells that do this have a life of 7 days. In other means, it means that generations of these cells will go on working for healing my bone. Who is doing that? Who is guiding them? Who is going to this job? For whom are they doing it? Not for themselves. They have nothing to do with that bone. They are doing it for me. Selfless workers nature has planted in my body to help me heal. That is what you have pointed out.
So this is going back to your talk, the very beginning of it. I didn't want to interrupt at the time. You said when you started out that there was a straight line and that was provable, and then there was a wave that was provable.